All right, we're live.
Hey.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for our third installment of our online live stream concert series, the Elderly Living Room Sessions. I'm AJ with Elderly Instruments, and we are here with the celebrated jazz banjoist, guitarist, bassist, and vocalist, Don Vappie. Thanks for being here, Don.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Don is based in New Orleans. He's been a keeper of New Orleans tradition and Creole culture. He's an expert in New Orleans jazz and has a distinctive banjo sound that can be heard across his entire discography. Our concert tonight is free, but donations are strongly encouraged. We hope to see the artists make far and beyond what they could at an in-store concert at Elderly, and it's your participation that will make that happen and encourage artists and us to do more of these special events. The recommended donation is $10, but any amount can be donated. 100% of the proceeds will go to the artist. So if you appreciate the music, show it in a donation. Head over to elderly.com/Don. It's right at the bottom of the screen here. And you'll find the links to donate. Sharing and commenting on this video helps the broadcast immensely. So please take a second to do so if you're so inclined. You can also support the artist by checking him out at donvappie.com and following him on social media. So without any other further distractions like my cat, Don, the music of Don Vappie.
Oh, well, typical, I can't find the website. That's okay.
We'll get to that set break.
It'll be fine. Okay, thank you. I'm going to start off with a number, one of my favorite numbers that I start off. I frequently start a gig when I'm playing my banjo solo. It's an old song from the Sam Morgan Band in the late 1920s. So it's called the Bogalusa strut, one of my favorites. And I guess AJ is going to let me know when I need to stop playing because I can't remember any of that. So here we go. I'll play till I get told to stop. All right. Bogalusa Strut. That's a song I've actually played with bands at horns and stuff. And I had to do a show with Bela Fleck and three other banjo players in New York, and we all had to do something to feature ourselves, and talk about our style. So to me, that was the perfect New Orleans style jazz tune to play. So I'm going to move on with actually another one I started doing. I started doing more solo gigs than anything, especially now. But this is an old favorite, old ragtime number, Alexander's Ragtime Band. Before I start singing, I'll play a little bit, you know. Alexander's Ragtime Band. All right, moving along. I'm gonna do a song now from one of my earlier albums, the Creole Blues album. I started my own label back in the 1980s and did Papa Don's New Orleans Jazz Band. Man, I don't even have the CD anymore, but I've actually found a box of LPs, which I'm told are back in style. So I feel like my dad, you know. He had a suit from the 40s, and I wore it in the 70s. It was happening. Anyway, here we go. This is a little tune, the title track called the Creole Blues. But I should mix it up. I'm going to do a medley of the Tin Roof Blues and the Creole Blues. This one's on my new CD, The Blue Book of Storyville. Jolie fille, pourquoi vous pas bien ici? Jolie fille, pourquoi vous pas bien ici? Vous connaissez, je l'aime vous, molez-vous pour moi, chérie. Mais quelle jolie fille dans cette maison. Mais quelle jolie fille dans cette maison. Si vous croyez moi, je sais bien attendre. jolie fille dans cette maison. Mais quelle jolie fille dans cette maison. Si vous croyez moi, je sais bien attendre. So that's the old Creole song. I call it, it's a begging song, like, let's get it on. Come on, baby, you know. But it's begging in Creole. My collar turned up. Hate looking bad on TV. Anyway, that's a cool little song. Baby, why don't you look at me? Why you not paying attention to me? So let me I'm gonna do an old standard for you. This one's always fun when we play it because we need to be smiling right now. It's called When You're Smiling, and I know y'all know this tune. And believe me, after what I saw the other night, I actually have a phone number if you need help. I forget the numbers, but it's like WTF was that is the phone number you can call if you need help, mental counseling after that other thing we saw. So here we go. Here's a little something called When You're Smiling. And yeah, when you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're frowning, you bring out the rain. Stop all that crying, be happy again. 'Cause when you're smiling, yes, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. Come on, when you're smiling, when you're smiling, now the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're frowning, you bring out the rain. So stop all that crying and whining and acting like a big baby. Keep interrupting people. Be happy again when you're smiling, if you know how to do that. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. with you. When you're laughing, when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. When you're frowning, you bring out the rain. Stop all that whining and crying. Be happy again, 'cause when you're smiling, now the whole world smiles with you. Whoops, the whole world smiles with you. Yeah, the whole world smiles with you. Yeah, you're right, when you're smiling. So here's another song from one of my albums. It's actually one of my most requested tunes to play. It's called the Buddy Bolden Blues. And when I first started playing it, I would introduce it as I have to do, I'm gonna do a Jelly Roll Morton song, but he played piano and I don't. So I have to do it on the banjo. So anyway, here we go. And Stan, I meant to wear my other shirt. I don't know why I have this one on. I think it's because I was cutting grass today, because I actually, COVID. Anyway, I wanted my banjo power shirt on, but I forgot. Anyway, here we go, man. Thought I heard Buddy Bolden say, "You're awful, you're terrible. Take him away for that chord. Disgusting, undesirable, take him away." I thought I heard him say, I thought I heard Buddy Bolden shout. He said, "Open up that window. Let that bad air out." Say, "You'll go on the back. Open up that window. Let that bad air out." I thought I heard Buddy Bolden shout. thought I heard Judge Haggerty say, he said 30 days in the slammer, take him away. Give him a broom and a dustpan, let him sweep up behind those mules on Bourbon Street. Take him away. I thought I heard him say, I thought I heard Frankie Dewson shout. He said, girl, give me that money, I'm gonna beat it out. Girl, you better give me that money, I'm gonna beat it out. I thought I heard Frankie Dewson shout. Yeah. All right, there you go. Thank you very much. Buddy Bolden Blues. Let's see. I'll do one now from my new album, Blue Book of Storyville. Actually, maybe I'll do that. I'll do that title cut. This album I did back in, we recorded it in January of 2019. And I went to London with my friend Dave Kelby and Sebastian Girardot and David Horniblow on clarinet. I know, I said the same thing when I first heard his name. Anyway, that's his name. And it's called The Blue Book of Storyville. And amazingly, it's gotten these great, great reviews all over the place. Even made the Sunday paper in the London, you know, in the whatever it is over there, the Herald or whatever. And I can't tour. I can't tour. I got all this press and I can't tour. Oh well. Hopefully they won't forget it. So here's the title track. The songs, I got to tell you, they came about because New Orleans turned 300 years a couple years ago. 3 years, I think it was. And I wanted to do a tribute to the 300-year anniversary of New Orleans. So I wrote a bunch of tunes and just couldn't manage to record them all with my, you know, the way I'd originally planned. So when I talked to Dave, we incorporated that with some sort of a Creole flavor of stuff too. So this was called The Blue Book of Storyville. And I don't know if you know what a blue book is, but back at the turn of the 1900s, there was a book that listed all of the ladies who worked in Storyville. I ain't talking about the bartenders. So you can look that up yourself. I actually have a copy of the Blue Book. Gwen Tompkins from Music Inside Out interviewed me for World Cafe on NPR, and she gave me a book. And I'm like, oh man, this is great. And first thing I did was look through to make sure, or to see if I had any family in there. Anyway, here's the song. district. Now it's all history, where men from all around got their kicks. Plenty pretty women, a catalog for sinning. Browse the pages, take your pick. All shapes and sizes, full of surprises, there for every man's desire. All on display, like prepaid foreplay. Love for sale, love for hire. Get hooked on a book and book your hook. It's the Blue Book of Storyville. Get hooked on the book, book your hook. It's the Blue Book of Storyville. Now when all is said and done, all have had their fun. The morning sun comes creeping in. Few hours go by, la jolie fille lets out a sigh. Everything begins again. You see it happened in the district. Now it's all history, where men from all around got their kicks. Plenty pretty women, a catalog for sinning. Browse the pages, take your pick. Get hooked on the book and book your hook. It's the Blue Book of Storyville. Get hooked on the book and book your hook. It's the Blue Book of Storyville. Get hooked on the book and book your hook. It's the Blue Book of Storyville. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. Excellent first set, Don. That was
Thank
great.
you.
Got a lot of people on Facebook and YouTube saying a lot of positive things. So,
Oh, that's good.
yep. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a 12-minute set break where I'm going to play a pre-recorded conversation with Stan Werbin and Don. And you guys talk about getting into tenor banjo, New Orleans culture, and a few other things. So this is a great time to head over to elderly.com/Don and tip the artist. Head over to donvappie.com and learn about his new album. And hang tight. We'll be back in about 12 minutes.
Hello, Don. It's great to have you here at the Elderly Instruments Living Room Sessions. We're recording this a week or so in advance, so I hope you enjoyed your first set, and folks should stick around for the second one. Our intermission here will be around 10 or 12 minutes, something like that. I wanted to get right to it since we don't have a lot of time. It occurs to me that although I'm sure there's a lot of tenor banjo players watching this, I would expect there's also a lot of more traditional elderly customers, which is to say a lot of five-string banjo players. And so I've talked to a lot of five-string banjo players who really want to learn tenor banjo, but often don't really have a way to do that. And I'm wondering if you have briefly some suggestions as to who to listen to, you know, the old guys, the new guys, who to listen to, and maybe how to go about it.
Oh, how to go about learning tenor?
Yeah, I know you
Well,
did it. You did it a different way than most, probably.
yeah, I did. I came at it from as being a bass player, and
Right.
I still love playing bass. But a bass, and then I played guitar. So really, I came at it from the guitar standpoint, because when I first started tenor, I tuned it like the top four of the guitar, and some people call that Chicago tuning.
Right.
And you can do that Chicago tuning with a tenor banjo or a plectrum banjo
Mhm.
or a 5-string if you just don't use the 5th string. You can
Right.
do that. But then I got hold of a 6-string banjo, a guitar banjo, and I thought, well, I'm gonna tune this one tenor and figure it out. And it actually, I don't want to say easier, but it's because each string is the same distance from each other. They're in fifths, as a bass would be in fourths. There's a certain uniformity to finding your harmonies and your chords. Like, you know, a major third will always be the same distance, you know, on each string.
Sure.
In this case, a minor sixth, because it's turned over, it's spaced out.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, I used to listen to, well, Danny Barker played a 6-string banjo. So, but then there was, I mean, I worked in the band with Narvin Kimball. He basically played rhythm all the time. He did some chord things.
Hmm.
By the way, he was a bass player at one
Oh,
point.
okay.
Some of my people I really dug were like Ike Robinson.
Hmm.
He was with Jabo Smith's band early on in the quartet stuff. They were in competition. The label put them in competition with Louis Armstrong's Hot Five.
Uh-huh.
So that was their answer to that.
Sure.
If you can find anything by George Gano,
How do you
he
spell
was
that?
a New Orleans player, Guenos,
Something
I
like
think,
that. Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
Because Gano's spelled some different ways, but
And what era is he from?
he's from, I would say, the 40s, 50s in New Orleans. I don't know if there's a whole lot. He's probably on some recordings,
Yeah.
but I remember he had a comment where he quit playing because he was tired of playing with people that couldn't play that well. I think he was at Preservation Hall at the time, and I'm not saying that anything bad about them.
No.
I'm just saying he showed his frustrations like by saying that. So maybe it was
Yeah.
just in terms of local gigs and people calling, and you know, if you work and you need to work, you end up taking gigs with whoever calls you.
Sure.
And you don't do like me. I don't burn bridges. I blow them up. So I've
Okay,
don't
we'll leave
recommend-
now.
yeah, I don't recommend my method. But people like that, Harry Reeser.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Listen, I learned not so much that Harry Reeser, he didn't really swing, so to speak. He had his own way of playing, and
Mhm.
it's just the stuff he played, the novelty tunes he did, was such great exercises to learn them.
Uh-huh.
You know, the single note playing, if you're into that. And but that's kind of the people I checked out. you know.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I guess there really are two schools. There are people who almost always just play rhythm, and in Dixie stuff usually, and then
Yeah.
there's people like you who, you know, take leads and you know, have more of a you know, freer jazz approach, I guess. I don't know, what would you call it?
Yeah, well, I think the tenor banjo was sort of relegated to a rhythm instrument when it's kind of like the bass in bluegrass. You know, there's one there, and whoever comes in last has to play bass. You know,
Often the case.
so maybe in I don't know if that's true or not, but for me, just to play bump, dump, jump, 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 just was boring,
Yeah, sure.
and it was my wife that actually, my wife Millie, who would listen to all these different kinds of music because she's a researcher.
Uh-huh.
So when she'd hear me play with my polyrhythmic type ding, gang, gang, ding, bang, bang, and the rolls, I was almost playing like a drummer.
Yeah.
And but she noticed that I play very similar to a Haitian banjo player or Caribbean player,
Hmm.
and that actually makes a lot of sense when you think about the people in Haiti who came here after the revolution.
Hmm.
Before it was Haiti, it was what, Santa Domingo, the name, and it became Haiti after. But those
Hmm.
people all settled on the Gulf Coast here in Louisiana.
Sure.
Hidori sang with a Haitian dialect, so um, so it made sense that I played like that.
Yeah,
And I
sure.
think most of the banjo players here, I think, just said, okay, this is the part I have to play. And I came into it from more of a cultural standpoint, in that my family all played music. Papa John Joseph back at the beginning with Buddy Bolden and all that. And even though neither of my parents played music, my mother was always listening to stuff, and I was exposed to a lot of things. So I think it's sort of a cultural thing, the way I play.
Sure, sure. No, that sounds good. This brings up two questions that I have. One is, it's maybe I'm hoping this is a fairly quick answer, but I'm wondering how the local music in New Orleans has changed since Katrina. I mean, I'm sure there's been an effect. I know that a lot of things have changed, a lot of things are the same, but have we lost a lot?
Well, the
You think?
short answer is a lot of local people who were here left.
Yeah,
Some of those weren't full-time musicians, because a
sure.
lot of the musicians, even back then, were plasterers, and they were journeymen. They did things, they built things, bricklayers, and they
Yeah,
played music at night.
sure.
But now there's a lot of people who have moved here, and I mean, honestly, I don't really recognize a lot of the bands.
Hmm.
I mean, I know who they are now, but initially I like, who's this? And they're in a way, there was a repertoire that used to happen here, but now it's more wide open. I mean, I hear a lot of songs that I'd never heard bands play, that were recordings, like classic recordings of
Hmm.
things. And the bands here mostly played because they had a purpose, they had a social function, and function in society. They played for
Sure.
dancing, they
Yeah,
played for second lines, they played for funerals. So that repertoire is now, that whole purpose is convoluted. You see second lines now because a wedding party hired one.
well,
And
we're kind of running out of time, but I have one other question, which is, as a four-string player, have you ever fooled around much with the ukulele? And let me tell you why I ask that, is because, as you probably have noticed, in the world, all of a sudden ukes I mean, I run a music store, and I know ukes are one of the best-selling instruments we have these days. Usually they're very cheap ones, but that's ukuleles. It's hard to make a really expensive one. So,
yeah,
but have you fooled around with the uke?
I haven't. I have, to the point that I had two students who started on ukuleles.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
I
Moved them
looked at
over.
it and worked
Yeah.
out ways of playing scales and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because they can get a book and learn chords, but I
Sure.
figured that out. In fact, I have a 5-string player that's enrolled in the jazz program at the Jazz and Heritage School.
Okay.
So I took
Okay.
my own Monarch banjo with the resonator on it, and
Uh-huh.
I tuned it to the G, D, G, B, D.
Uh-huh.
I don't have the drone string, the high G, but I did that so I could work out some chords and progressions for her to play.
Yeah. Well, great.
So,
Yeah, I only asked because I'm assuming it would be an easy switch for you if for some reason banjos didn't exist anymore, and you wanted to play the ukulele, it wouldn't
Yeah.
be a big struggle for you.
Well, I always think of Tiny Tim, man.
Yeah, well, Tiny Tim, he in his own way he wasn't bad. He
Right.
actually
Hey,
he brought a
I
lot of
just
good music to the fore, but
telling my age, you know.
but they say that Tim killed the ukulele at the time. Although when he came on the scene, there was no scene at all for the ukulele, so
Right.
he couldn't have really killed it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should probably get going. It's time for you to start up your concert again in the living room sessions, and so I thank you so much. It's great talking to you and great to see you, and I'll join you for coffee one morning.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I wear my Midwest banjo shirt. I don't
Oh, I
have it on
haven't seen
today.
that. I haven't seen that.
I've worn it, and
I'm
a
wearing
couple
mine
of
right now.
students-
Here, let me show it to the people. There it is. I think that
there you
shows it.
go.
There it is. That's an old one.
That's an old one. I got
Okay,
the
well,
one
I'll
with
let you
the
go.
superheroes on it.
Indeed. Well, great talking to you.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, we're back live with Don Vappie. I think Stan was trying to convert you to the ukulele there.
Well, yeah, you know, I might have to get one then, man.
I have to do that. That's the next thing. So
You see, I got Tiny Tim burned into my mind here with a
Sure.
ukulele, so that was the one thing, you know.
well, maybe you're the next big thing on ukulele.
Right.
So. Well, all right. I know at the beginning of the first set you'd say you would play until I told you to stop. Well, how about style it in for about another half an hour of great live music? And here we go, Don Vappie.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, AJ. Appreciate it, man. So I mentioned in that interview, I mentioned Kid Ory. So I'm gonna do one of his tunes because actually I put this one on the album as well. But it's true, Kid Ory did speak with a Haitian dialect. I did this song one day, and a lady in the audience happened to be a linguist, and she came to me. She says, "Can you write that down for me?" I said, "No, ma'am. I don't speak, and I don't. I'm not really good at speaking the language conversationally, but it never sounded foreign to me because my family, I grew up with it. My grandparents, they would speak Creole when they didn't want us to know what they were talking about. So anyway, she said to write it down phonetically, and I did. And she came back the next day and told me, this is a Haitian dialect, and she explained why and all that. But I'm going to play it instead of talk about it a whole lot, okay? Madame Pédo, ça t'a pété. Et la gale a commencé. De pas longuement, de pas longeant. Madame Pédo, de plein cancan. C'est la caca. On la réclamant. J'ai pas l'aimez-vous. Oh, Madame Pédo, de plein cancan. C'est la caca. Pédo, on la réclamant. Pédo, j'ai pas l'aimez-vous. Pédo, oh, Madame Pédo. That's your part. So next time I get there, y'all gotta sing that. Madame Pédo, ça t'a pété. Mais la gale a commencé. De parlant, de parlant, genre. Madame Pédo, de plein cancan. C'est la caca. On la réclamant. Y'a pas le même vous. Oh, Madame Pédo, de plein cancan. C'est la caca. On la réclamant. Y'a pas le même vous. Madame Pédo, de plein cancan. à pépé, mais la gale a commencé. De parlons genre, Madame Péto, plein caca, c'est la caca. On a eu que les bancs, j'ai pas l'aimé vous. Oh, Madame Péto, plein caca, c'est la caca. On a eu que les bancs, j'ai pas l'aimé vous. Oh, Madame Pédo, plein caca. Yeah, that's called C'est l'autre cancan. Oh yeah, the Creole song, C'est l'autre cancan. So, Kid Ory, oh man, my buddy. There are smiles that make you happy. There are smiles that make us blue. There are smiles that steal away the teardrops as the sunbeam steals away the dew. There are smiles that have a tender meaning that the eyes of love alone will see. And the smiles that filled my heart with sunshine, all the smiles you gave to me. Come on, y'all. There are smiles that make us happy. There are smiles that make us blue. There are smiles that steal away the teardrops as the sunbeam steals away the dew. There are smiles that have a tender meaning that the eyes of love alone will see. And the smiles that fill my heart with sunshine are the smiles you gave to me. Smiles that make us happy. Hey! There are smiles that make us that steal away the teardrops as the sunbeam steals away the dew. There are smiles that have a tender meaning that the eyes of love alone will see, and the smiles that filled my heart with sunshine are the smiles you gave to me, are the smiles you gave to me. Yeah, missed that. Now I got it. All right. Oh, man. Yes, sir. Okay, let's see. I think maybe I'll do another song from my CD, the Blue Book of Storyville. There was one I did, but it's more of a single note tune. I can't really do it tonight. I love it though. I call it The Color of Creole. It's a fun tune. It's a lot of fun to play, but it's like you need to. Can't do that one for you. Anyway, I'm gonna do one that's one of my favorites. So, this one is called "I Would If I Could," and actually, it's funny because I studied composition with a great man down here called Dr. Roger Dickerson, and he's a composer, orchestral classical music composer. He doesn't like that term, classical music. It's a period, but y'all know what I mean. And one of the exercises he gave me was to write down, if I could, I would. And how many different ways can I say that? It's a long story. But I got that after I said, man, I wrote a song like that. Anyway, here we go. I would if I could. Now if that was the status quo, oh baby, you know, you'd get good loving like you should. I would if I could. Now if I could, you know I would hold you really tight. If I could, you know I would live my dream tonight. Oh baby, you thrill me so. Oh yeah, you know, romance all day, that's what I say. I would if I could. Now if I could, you know I would hold you really tight. If I could, you know I would live my dream tonight. Oh baby, you thrill me so. Oh yeah, you know, romance all day, that's what I say. I would if I could. I would. I'd live my dream tonight. Now if that was the status quo, baby, you know I'd romance all day, that's what I say. I would if I could, I would if I could, I would if I could. Yeah, I would if I could. That's one of my tunes. That one was actually my whole idea about writing songs about New Orleans. Well, the Blue Book of Storyville, obviously, that was a thing that was happening around the turn of the century. I Would If I Could just reminded me of some of my experiences playing dances when I started playing in the, I'll say jazz standards, or jazz standards in New Orleans was like New Orleans tunes. I'll play one of them for you next, but you know, it was just fun. It was just it's just different than anywhere else. You know, when we played for people to dance, it's like their dancing inspired us to play, because it's almost like people dance in a jazz way in New Orleans. It's hard to explain, but it's a real give and take, you know. They call that symbiotic relationship. See, I went to school, man. I know them big words, unlike somebody else. So let me get on that. I said I was going to play the tune. I'm going to play a New Orleans tune for you. That's it. I'll do one of, this is one you probably have never heard. Well, a lot of people haven't heard it, but maybe you have. Let's see. To go where there's seldom any ice or snow. Why don't you go down to New Orleans? You can ride in an old streetcar, even celebrate Mardi Gras. Why don't you go down to New Orleans? Get red beans and rice, boy, ain't they nice? Some sweet praline. Go to the Fourteenth most every day, and even see the Carnival Queen, where you can listen to Dixieland by all those great jazz bands. Why don't you go down to New Orleans? I was a little ad-libbing on the lyrics there, so every now and then I do that. Don't mind me. Just my way. So I can tell you there was a moment in my, I wish I could have talked to Stan longer because there were so many things that led me to playing banjo. And one of them was hearing a quartet play in St. Lucia on the island. I was there touring with somebody. I don't remember. It was either Preservation Hall or Wynton Marsalis, one of the two. But I went to just hanging out on time off, walking around. And there was this band playing for the brunch. Banjo, violin, a conga drum, and a shaker. And it was just so hip. It was like, it just completely opened my mind to playing banjo. If anything did anything, it was that. So that was a real moment. But what it told me was I could play anything I want on the banjo. And I remember touring and having to play the same songs every night for, 6 weeks. Because I mean, that's what the gig is, right? And I started learning other tunes. And one of them I learned was Stella by Starlight, because we'd always made jokes about banjos playing ballads. But it's really kind of pretty, So I'm going to play a little bit of it for you. If I remember it. Let's see. That's a little, just to show you can play something pretty on the banjo, I mean, I got the book, right? The Banjo Joke book. So I just wanted to dispel that a little bit. So here's a tune I like to play. There's a lot of lyrics to it, and the lyrics are really funny, but I really like to play it as a solo, just regular solo thing. So it's just fun to play. I think it's actually my favorite title of all time. Blues My Naughty Sweetie Gives to Me. Blues My Naughty Sweetie Gives to Me. I'm like, I have so much imagination with that title. I cannot tell you how much imagination. was thinking I need to play A La Ba for y'all because that's another one I do that everybody likes. So y'all can sing along. And the way this works is I say A La Ba, you say A La Ba, 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 A La Ba chérie, A La Ba chérie, comment ça va, comment ça va. That's how it goes, okay? Danny Barker. Et là-bas, chérie, comment ça va? Et là-bas, chérie, comment ça va? J'ai tout couchant, j'ai tout la peine, et j'ai mangé plein. J'ai fait comme pour moi, j'ai trop. Et ça fait moi malade. Et là-bas, chérie, comment ça va? Et là-bas, chérie, comment ça va? Cher cousine, j'ai la la cousine, j'ai fait un mot, ça n'a pas coûté rien. Et là-bas, I'm getting my story mixed up. Et là-bas, chérie, comment ça va? Et là-bas, chérie, comment ça va? That's a big finish here. J'ai tout couchant, j'ai tout la peine, et j'ai mangé plein. J'ai fait gambon, mon moi j'ai trop, et ça fait moi malade. Bonjour maman, j'ai comme bouillon poisson, et gonflé comme un ballon. Rouler, comme un grand cochon. Et là-bas, chérie, comment ça va? Et là-bas, chérie, comment ça va? Yeah, et là-bas. Anyway, that's a popular tune down here. So, let's do another one. One of my favorites, and I know I got somebody listening that loves this song. It's a Louis Armstrong number. Really like this tune here. Give me a kiss to build a dream on. My imagination thrive upon that kiss. Sweetheart, I ask no more than this, a kiss to build a dream on. Give me a kiss before you leave me. My imagination, feed my hungry heart. Give me this before we part, a kiss to build a dream on. When I'm alone with my fancies, I'll be with you, weaving romances, making believe they're true. So give me your lips for just a moment, my imagination, make that moment live. Give me what only you can give, a kiss to build a dream on. I'll be with you, weaving romances, making believe they're true. So give me your lips for just a moment, my imagination will make that moment live. Give me what only you can give, a kiss to build a dream on. Zap-a-doo-zap-boo, zap-boo-zap. Oh, yeah. Little Louis. Well, let's see. I promised you something else. Let's see. Let's do one that really is, everybody should know this one, because it's called the Bourbon Street Parade. Then we have a little parade party or something down here. Let's go. It starts off with drums, sorry. Yeah. Take you or parade you down Bourbon all the hot spots, meet all the big shots down on Bourbon Street. It's the nighttime version here. Let's fly down or drive down to New Orleans, Louisiana. That city, it's so pretty. Historic scenes way down yonder in New Orleans. I'll take you or parade you down Bourbon Street. Come on in, folks. We got boys, we got girls. See all the hot spots, meet all the big shots. It's a nighttime version. Down on Bourbon Street. Yeah, that's the New Orleans version. So there's probably another one y'all probably want to hear. I'm thinking of songs y'all might want to hear here. I was down at old Joe's ballroom, down on the corner by the square. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Drinks were being served as usual, and a goodly crowd was there. Yeah, they were. And then up stepped old Joe McKenzie. Y'all remember him? He used to have a bakery in New Orleans. His eyes were bloodshot red. I'm not gonna say who. He stepped up to the bar, ordered himself a drink. I think it was a single malt. Then he turned around, looked at us, and these are the words he said. He said, I went down to St. James Infirmary, saw my baby there. She was stretched on this long white table. She was real tall, so cold, so still, so bare. Then I said, Lord, let her go. God bless her. Wherever she may be. 'Cause you know she could search the whole world over, never find a nice attitude, cut the grass man like me. Kind of good looking, I think. Yeah, Lord, when I die, I want you to bury me in my box back coat and my Stetson hat. Put my Hamburg hat on, that's the one I really like. Put a $20 gold piece on my watch chain, so all the fellas will know I died standing back. Now that's the end of my story. Lord knows I paid my dues every year in January. Musicians Union. Hey bartender, send me over a single malt, a double, so I can drink away my St. James Infirmary blues. Such a sad song. I like to end it happy. All right. Yeah, end it on a happy chord. All right. Let's see what I'm going to play for you now. I got a feeling I'm thinking about it. Let's do, I got one for you. that's my little version of that. By the way, a little something about that tune that's interesting. That tune was first heard sung by some slaves at a plantation very close to where I live right now in Covington, Louisiana. So I was really surprised to hear that. That's an old tune, a melody and stuff. We've put all kinds of words to it since then. But I'd like to, shoot, I don't know how long I've been playing, but I'm gonna play at least one more. I hope that's enough. I'm gonna do one more. Thank you,
One more.
AJ. I mean, you know, man, if I'm not paying attention, I'll be playing all night. So
It's been great. One more.
my wife's gonna be looking for me, you know. She's I'm trying to go to sleep, man, and banjo. Anyway, this is, first of all, thank y'all very much. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Elderly Instruments. I've been knowing you a long time, Stan. I probably haven't talked to you enough. But anyway, thank you very much. Y'all been great. And I would like to, this last tune maybe dedicated to my mother who passed away back in 2015. She had a good life, made it to 96. And this is Down by the Riverside. And you know, I started off with Sam Morgan Band. I'm gonna end up with Sam Morgan Band. This Sam Morgan Band had 4 recordings that survived in late 1920s. And one of them was Bogalusa Strut that I played for you to start out. Another one was Down by the Riverside. And I'd like to do that for you. And they did it different than I was normally used to doing it, playing it with the bands in New Orleans. So when I started playing it this way, I mean, I just loved it. And I remember playing it for my mother, and she looked at me, she said, you know, that's the way we played, that's the way we sang it when I was a little girl. So ever since, you know, I always play this tune like this. So thank y'all very much. You have a great night. Don't forget to vote. It's real important. You know, I do a show every morning, 8 o'clock. I sit on my porch, 8 o'clock Central Time. And it's Coffee on the Porch with Don Vappie. And we talk about whatever's happening. Or we might talk about some music stuff. Or we might talk about a bird in my yard. It's just, I walk around, show everybody my spiders and stuff. All kinds of stuff. Anyway. And I try to play a few songs for everybody every day at 3 o'clock. Today was my 195th, or was it 6? I'm close to 200 consecutive days of doing this. I didn't think it would go this long, but anyway, vote, y'all. Vote. And please, whatever you do, let's all stay together against this, I'm thinking, this tendency to violence. This is just not, it's not here. I should shut up. Sing this song and hope for that. Down by the riverside, gonna lay my burden down. Down by the riverside, gonna lay my burden down. Down by the riverside, gonna lay my burden down. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Study war no more. Down by the riverside, gonna lay my burden down. Down by the riverside, gonna lay my burden down. Down by the riverside, lay my burden down. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Ain't riverside, lay my burden down. Down by the riverside, lay my burden down. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 No more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Don.
Thank you, man.
And thanks to everybody in the audience for the positive comments throughout the concert and conversation. For anybody who's an Elderly Instruments follower, make sure you head over to Don Vappie on Facebook. Join him for coffee tomorrow morning and a concert every afternoon. And head over to elderly.com and pick up a tenor banjo. I know you want to now. Check out Don's new album and tip the artist at elderly.com/Don.
Open back.
Open back.
No, either one. I mean, I like,
Sure.
great, man.
I'm just going to take the 5th string off of my banjo.
You can do that.
Sure. All right. Thanks, everybody.